mic muted, and so it didn't show up. Let's see. I'm going to kind of check on my computer here as we get going to see. It didn't show up. Alright, so we are back. Yes, I recorded that video, and apparently the mic was muted because it was unmuted here, but apparently over there I have to have it unmuted in two places as well. So I just love technology. It's just it cooperates every time. I don't know if that ever happens with you guys, but sorry about that. So I'm going to do this Psalm devotion again with volume this time. So if you're a good lip reader, maybe you could go back and find that old video. I'm not sure if it deleted it or not, but maybe it did, maybe it didn't. But hey, so we're so grateful that you're here with us and doing this Psalm video every Wednesday, and now it's way past noon. It's like 12:20 almost. But I just want to say thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part of our church and being a part of our church community, whether that's you live here and you're around here, or maybe your family and friends and others who watch as well. So I want to tell you, if you are around here, you know, I'm going to take a stab at it. Let's see if I can name all the towns around here. We got obviously Thayer, and then we've got Chanute and Parsons. We've got Galesburg. We've got Neodesha and Fredonia and Altoona. And you know, if you come from another town, maybe you need to correct me on it and say, hey Caleb, we live here. Let's see, Cherryville. Hey, I'm just trying to figure them all out. Here we go. So I think that's all of them, but maybe there's more. But if you do live around here in one of these towns, I want to encourage you to get involved in a small group. Small groups are restarting, and there's still sign-ups available. There's still groups that haven't had their first meeting yet. I know my small group will be meeting for the first time on Sunday night. And, you know, there's a group or two who's changed their times, or maybe they have to postpone. And, you know, I think many of you have already gotten word on those. And so I'll reach out to you if you're in that group, in those groups. But I would encourage you to be part of small groups and also Sunday school. Noah has started to teach a new class, and it's called The Heart of the Artist, and it's a book about being in a worship team and leading worship and having the right heart and all of that situation. So we will go ahead and get jumped into this. And I chose Psalm 104 this week because I really felt like it connected with the Bible reading plan I'm doing. Now, I've done a ton of Bible reading plans and a ton of things, a ton of short ones over the years, a 4-day plan on love or on joy or this and that. And I think those are really important. And I think devotions are really important to draw us close with that relationship to God. But I think it's also really important to know what's in the scriptures to be able to give an answer in any situation. And so I'm reading in Genesis is where I'm at. Genesis, and in Matthew, it kind of reads them side by side. And it talked about here in Psalm 104, and I just wanted to share, it talked about kind of the flood and creation, and it made me think of something I read today that was a new thing. I actually read it yesterday or the day before and kind of came back to it a few times, and it's in Genesis chapter 6 where it says this, and this is a very familiar thing, that 2 of every kind of creature, of all living creatures, male and female, will be kept in the ark. And I think we know the song, we sing the song 2 by 2, you know, there's kids songs about it, but we know that. But what you might have forgotten, what you might not have realized, was what it says in Genesis chapter 7, another instruction. Take with you 7 of every kind of clean animal, a male and its mate, 2 of every kind of unclean animal, a male and its mate, and also 7 of every kind of bird, male and female. So actually there were more than just 2 by 2 of every, you know, there's more than that on the ark. There was 7 kinds of several clean animals and even the birds. And so I think it's really cool to learn new things about the scriptures, and there's things you see that you didn't see before. And as one of my friends who's a minister, he would always say this: I'm just one learner telling other learners what I've learned. I'm not somebody that needs to be put up on a pedestal. And I think it's really important to base our faith on Jesus instead of putting our hope in someone who is bound by the sinful nature. We are all born into the sinful nature, for we have all sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. And so anyways, just important to base our faith on Jesus. Even, I may say some important things on Sundays and on these videos, but if you have something that you want to share with me that you've learned, I would encourage you to reach out to me as well. So it's about time to get into this video, so let's get going with it. Let's see, Psalm 104, verses 5 and 6. He set the earth on its foundations. It can never be moved. You covered it with the deep as with a garment. The waters stood above the mountains. I can only imagine what it would be like to be on the ark, to be on Noah's ark. And I don't know about you, but I don't remember what Noah's wife's name was. But shouldn't it be like Noah and her ark? Like, shouldn't it be both of them? Can you imagine? Like, she did some work too, I'm sure. She, I'm sure, had a hammer and a nail and was doing some work as well. Helping them feed them, do so many things as he was doing this. But in Noah's ark, on the main deck, would you have gone out there if it was like raining and pouring for 40 days and 40 nights? Would you have gone out onto the deck? Would you have gone out there to just get rained on and to see things? I think maybe some of you would really be hoping for some Dramamine. I don't know if you've ever been on a cruise boat or another big boat for a long period of time, but some people get that motion sickness, and it takes a while to get over it. And so I'm sure the months that they were on the boat, I think if I remember right, it was 9 months that they were on the ark. So you could probably get motion sickness a lot on those days. But how amazing it is to see God's creation and almost to see none of it, to see all of it covered by water. That would be something interesting to see. And in verses 7 through 10, it also talks about the flood and also makes me think about parting of the Red Sea and God providing for his people in the wilderness. It says, "But at your rebuke the waters fled. At the sound of your thunder they took flight. They flowed over the mountains. They went down into the valleys to the place you assigned for them. You set a boundary they cannot cross. Never again will they cover the earth. He makes springs pour water into the ravines. It flows between the mountains." I think in this psalm it really looks back to so many of the great things God has done for his people. And, there are a lot of other great things that are talked about in this psalm. I'm not going to get into all of them, but in verse 16 it talks about trees and how amazing trees are. It talks about birds. It talks about the mountains. It talks about the moon. Verse 21 talks about lions. Verse 22 talks about the sun and its sunshine. And all of these things are great. All of these things are great. And I know right now at our house, our kids are learning about a lot of these things. They're learning about the moon and the stars. They're learning, especially right now, about some of their favorite animals. I can tell you one of my favorite animals growing up was the cheetah. The cheetah was definitely an important animal because it was so fast. And so this week I heard, I think one of my kids say that they're cheetah fast because they can run across the house and, in their minds they're leaving flames of fire behind them. They're going so fast. They've got a great imagination. They want to be like these great and strong animals. And another favorite animal of mine and of a lot of kids is a shark. Man, I loved the sharks. It was kind of a love-hate thing because, as a kid, you watch all these things like Shark Week, like some of these scary movies, and it doesn't do you any good because at the end of the day, you are afraid and you dream at night about a shark coming to get you. Every time you jump into water, you think maybe there's a shark in this water, and you kind of have these fears. But I remember the sharks being awesome, being great. I know I always wanted to go swim with a great white shark, and I say swim, I wanted to be the one to jump in a cage with a great white shark. That's what I always wanted to do, and I haven't looked up, but I doubt my life insurance would pay out the policy if I were to, if somebody were to do something like that, or skydiving, some of these risky things. I think there's probably some fine print in there somewhere, but I think for me that sounds exciting. I love to ride the roller coasters, hands in the air, don't hold on at all. And I think, with learning about some of these things and about these great animals that are so mighty and strong and powerful, I think it's important for us to remember, for us to realize of all the things in God's creation, He loves us. That we are the greatest thing that He has created. And that's what God, His love shows us. That He continues to love us and lead us and be for us. And of all the things He's done, He has sent His Son Jesus to save us. He rescued His people through Noah and the ark. He rescued Noah and his family. He rescues the Israelites over and over again. And we read about Jesus who came to rescue us. And so of all the great things, of all the big things we see in Scripture, know that God loves us so much that He sent His only Son to die for us so that we wouldn't perish, but that we would have everlasting life. I just pray that you would be reminded of that you would know that.